Good morning. This is the virtual PBX-admin training. The training will last approximately half an hour to 45 minutes. This will be mostly an overview of where you can find the various features of your Dash system. Please look in the show notes. You'll see the support link. You're going to want to use that and look up the specific guides for the step-by-step instructions for the various features as I go over them. Let's go ahead and get started. Here you see our Dash login page, which is at dash.virtualpbx.com. To get logged in, we need your email address, which should be in all lowercase letters, your password, which is case sensitive, and then your account name, which is not case sensitive. If you have problems logging in, above the sign-in bar, there's a forgot your info link. If you click on that, you're going to fill out the form that shows up here. So I'll need your email address, and then we need one of the two pieces of information. Typically, the account name is easiest. Click on Reset Password. You'll get an email. There'll be a link in the body of the email that lets you log in temporarily to change your password. It logs you back out. So you come back here. You have the option to click on Remember Me, and then click on Sign In. All right, now here we have our Dash login page. Up at the top, you have your name, and you can click on that. This is where you get to your user page. So you could come in here and change your time zone and language. You can also change your password. As a system admin on the left, you can click on account. You can change your account settings here, including the time zone and language. You also have access to the add-ons. These are going to add additional features to your Dash account. This includes virtual text forward, multiple auto attendants, dynamic caller ID, and advanced reporting. There'll be an additional monthly fee associated with these. There'll be a pop-up letting you know what that fee is, and you have to confirm it to have that fee or in that feature activated. Otherwise, you click cancel and it's not there. On the left here, we have our billing portal. And this link here takes you to the billing portal itself. That's what you use to log in to update your payment method and see previous invoices. Any system admin can also click on a cancel account here on the left. There'll be a red button here on the bottom right. You click on that and fill out the following forms, and then your account will be canceled at the end of the current billing cycle. When you're done over here, click on the close box up to the top right. To the right of your name, you'll have a DND toggle standing for Do Not Disturb. So when it's on, you're not taking calls. They're going to voicemail. This is only for your user. Next up, we have a little phone icon. This opens up a tab and takes you to webphone.virtualpbx.net. If you have a web phone device on your user, you can use your Dash login information on that page and log in. And you can use Chrome or Firefox on a computer to make and receive calls. We have a little chat bubble icon here. This opens up a new tab. It takes you to virtualtext.app. It has its own login information, and that's what you would use for making use of our virtual text feature or business SMS. Little question mark icon. This opens up a chat window at the bottom right of your browser, so you can speak to one of our support team members. The hamburger icon, or the three horizontal lines, this is the menu icon. This gets to other Dash features, which we'll touch on towards the very end. And then the arrow to the right is the log out icon. I'm going to skip down here to total users. I have 4 users. These are people who make and receive calls. The more users you have on your plan, the higher your bill is going to be for most of our plans. We have total devices and a breakdowns of the type of devices. I have 13. The main things to be aware of is VoIP phones, right? So that's the soft phone or any cell phone app, the web phone, or SIP phones, right? Potentially could increase your bill, right? Depends on your plan. Some plans include a VoIP phone per user, so just be aware of that. Total numbers, I have 12 phone numbers on the account. Your account includes at least one main local number. Depending on your plan, you may get an additional local number per user. So obviously I'm paying an overage here. Toll-free numbers and extra phone numbers in general are $4.99. Conference bridges, I have two. That means I've enabled conference feature on 2 of my users. Over here to the top right is my main number box. I have 3 main numbers. These numbers are going to the same part of my system. They're playing the same main greeting. You can obviously have multiple main numbers. Then I have my conference room number. You can have multiple conference room numbers if you want. This is the number your staff and your customers or vendors call to join the conference. They'll be prompted to enter a conference room number and PIN number. The fax box number, you can only have one main fax box number, and this is your inbound fax number. This also allows you to edit your fax box to allow for outbound faxing. The company directory, there's 2 links here. One is CSV, the other is soft phone. CSV is just that. It's a CSV file you open with a spreadsheet. You'll see your staff members' names, email addresses, etc. The soft phone link is for use with the VirtualPBX desktop soft phone application. So if you're using our soft phone app on a Mac or Windows PC, you can download this file, upload it directly to your soft phone app. In your contact list, you'll see your other staff members who have the VirtualPBX soft phone, and you'll see the status of their soft phones, like whether they're on a call or not. VirtualPBX Store, this opens up a new tab and opens up a new, opens a new tab and takes you to store.virtualpbx.com. And that's where you can order things like a VoIP phone from us. And then the account realm, unique to each account. It's used for programming a third-party soft phone as well as part of outbound faxing, which we'll be getting to later. Going back towards the top here, we have caller ID. Click on that little button here. This pull down lets you choose any of your main numbers, and that main number becomes the default caller ID for your VoIP phones when they make outbound calls. You just click on the number and then save changes. Hold music. This, you can upload your own media files. Just click upload here. Click browse to find a .wav or a .mp3 file up to 1 megabyte in size. Click the up arrow icon. Once it finishes, click on Save Changes. This will become the default hold music for all your staff. This is after a call is coming to your system, your staff member has picked up their VoIP phone and then press hold. That's when this media file will play. All right, hours is actually part of main number, but let's go ahead and hold off on that. And on the left, I'm gonna click on users. It shows our users on the account. The people with the blue suit icon, system admins. People with great person icon, just a standard user, limited access. Up here at the top is where you would click add user and you would fill out the form. The main thing to know here is that the email address used for login needs to be unique for each user, and that is how the system communicates with your staff. Other than that, you can fill out the form as you see fit. That includes the extension number. We do recommend 4-digit extensions for maximum versatility. Once a user is created, you can click on their name. Right, you can change their name. For instance, if you made a typo. Here is where you can change their credentials, right? So if you need to change their email address or their password, you also have the option here to send them the password reset email. You can change their voice mailbox PIN number. Just enter 4 digits and save changes. Here's your option to send emails to an alternate address, and here's your option to send or add the user into the user directory. This pull down here on the right, little person icon, this changes a user into an admin or an admin down to a user. Little time icon here, this pull down allows you to select the time zone for the user, so their voicemail timestamps are correct. Little flag icon, this changes the display language for this user into English, French, German, or Russian. The ringing timeout, the default is 20 seconds, and that's plenty of time for calls to go to a landline or VoIP phone. If you have your user only using a cell phone here, you would want to increase this to at least 30 seconds. The extension box, you can add additional extension numbers to a user. Just click on the link at the bottom here and then enter the new extension number and then save changes. Users can have their own phone numbers, meaning it rings directly to them and to no one else. Just be aware that a phone number on a user is available 24/7, has no hours of operation or anything of that nature. You can either buy numbers, which is adding a new number to the account, or adding for spare, which is using one of your spare numbers. Again, use that support link there to do a search for adding phone numbers, or DID phone numbers in this case. Devices, we recommend adding devices directly to a user, as that will save you a step. The thing I want to cover here is under new device and soft phone. Whenever you add a soft phone or web phone, you're going to get this warning message. Please read it at least once. Close, and a big box will now show up. The default to adding a third-party soft phone, meaning you're using somebody else's soft phone app. Below the view configuration guide, though, it says where it says use third-party application, this is a toggle. You can click on it, and now it says use VirtualPBX application. This is the only way you can add a VirtualPBX soft phone to your account. You have to add it directly to a user. You need to give it a name, click on create device, and then click on save changes. Once you click on save changes, this user gets an email saying their VirtualPBX soft phone is ready. In the body of the email are their credentials to log into the app, as well as download links, right? And it's because we're sending that email is why you have to add it directly to a user. For other devices, again, you can use the show note support link. There's also the auto provisioning document there, which is for SIP phones that support auto provisioning. For features, I want to dive in on two real quick, which is first is voicemail. Voicemail boxes can hold 100 messages. After that, they're full and cannot hold any more. By default, when you create a new user, one of the options that's checked is to create a voicemail box for the user. So that saves you a step. Now, also by default, this option here is checked where you attach an MP3 file to the email notification, right? So you can just click on it and listen to it. You can always check your voicemail messages over the phone, right? From a VoIP phone, *98, click call, that logs you directly in your voicemail box. Even if you call into the main number, you can do *97 and then enter your voicemail box number, PIN number. You can also check your messages via the portal, which we'll get to when we get to the user portal. If you don't want a voicemail box to get full, or a user is very bad about checking their voicemail boxes and deleting their messages, you can choose this option here, which is deleting that voicemail from the system after we've sent that notification email out with the MP3 attachment. The other feature I want to cover is this follow me, which is right here to the right of voicemail. This is for users with multiple devices. This user currently has 3 devices. Because my follow me feature is not enabled, when calls come to this user, all 3 devices ring at the same time. Right? They pick up whichever one they get to first. I don't want that, or more specifically, the user tells me they don't want that, then I would come here to follow me, right? I would click enable, and then I decide which devices I want them to be ringing, right? I uncheck the devices they want to use. I click and drag to give them a ring tone. Alternatively, I can click distribute. Right? So now it's going to ring in order, right? So always this top device first, and then the web phone second. I can click and drag to change the order and then click distribute. So now it goes the web phone first, then the soft phone. This box here at the end is the total ring time for this user. I can increase or decrease that as I see fit and then hit enter. Now, one thing to note is if this user is part of a group, which we'll be getting to next, calls from the group ignore the follow me feature. Quick rundown, caller ID number. This is for users with their own phone number. This allows you to change their outbound caller ID from their VoIP phones to be the number on their user, right? So people can call them directly. Fax box. This allows you to create a fax box for the user so they can be the only person who receives those faxes. You can add a phone number to them, or you can choose to add an extension for that fax box. Conference bridge, this is where you would enable conferencing for a user so they can host or moderate that a conference. Call forwarding, this is just that. It's forwarding calls to an outside number. If your users are making use of a cell phone as one of their devices, they probably don't need call forwarding. This also has failover mode, which is you would use as an admin, you would set up for your VoIP phone users. So that way, if their VoIP phone goes offline, they can automatically forward without any other additional input. Customized call recording. This is so you can record your inbound and outbound calls. Music on hold is so you can have users have specific hold music, right? You want your salespeople to have one kind of hold music versus everyone else. Do not disturb, just is so you can turn on or off do not disturb on a user. Hot desking is a VoIP phone feature. It's designed for a shared office environment or hybrid scheduling where your staff members may not have an assigned desk that they sit at every day. Right? They may only come in a couple times a week. So they sit at an available desk with a VoIP phone. They can log into the VoIP phone directly, so that way calls will then be sent to them at their phone they're sitting at. Again, use the support link in the show notes to do a search for any of these features for the full step-by-step directions. All right, next up, we'll go to groups. Groups are departments, right? They're also referred to as hunt groups or ring groups. Up here at the top is you would click on at create group. You need to give it a name. You need to give it an extension number. Click and drag your staff members to the right that you want to be in the group, and then you would click on create group. Once a group is created, you can click on its name. All right, so you can always change the name if you need to. Here, you've got the group call attempts. This is how many times the system will offer an inbound call to the members of the group. And you can change that amount here on the right, little arrows to increase or decrease. If you make any changes, click on Save Changes. If you need to remove a group, you can just delete it here. Next up, we have the members box for the group. This shows the people you've assigned to the group and how you're offering calls to them. This is an example of blast ringing or ring all, right? So it's ringing to all of them at the same time. Whoever picks up first gets the call. You can click distribute, right? So now it always rings in this order every time. It will not skip someone who's already on a call, right? So Dante's first. If he's already on a call, the system is still going to try to offer him a call from the group for 40 seconds, and then it's going to roll to David, right? Now you can click and drag the sliders for the later users so those later callers are not waiting on hold. You can also add additional users down here at the bottom. And you can remove people as you see fit. Up along at the top, timestamps. The default is 120 seconds, so 2 minutes. But you can edit this last box here to change that if you need to. Extension box, you can choose to have multiple extension numbers for a group. Just click on Add Extension, enter the new extension number, and click on Save Changes. Phone numbers. Groups can have their own phone numbers, just like on users. There are no hours of operation, so it's always available. You can add from spare or buy new. And then we have group features. First up is ringback. By default, when a call comes into a group, your inbound caller hears that ringing sound, right? If you don't want that, you would want to enable this feature here and then upload your own .wav or .mp3 file up to 1 megabyte in size. One thing to know, the system is not going to loop the file for you. So you want to make sure that this file will play as long as your total ring time that you set up in the group. And then click on Save Changes when you're done. Next action. This is what do you want the system to do with an inbound call if none of your staff members pick up. So you click to enable. And then from the pull down, you select something on your system, whether that's a different group, a specific user, a phone, or a voicemail box. And then click on Save Changes. Allow call forwarding. If you enable it, that means your users can make use of call forwarding, i.e. they're not going to be at their normal phone, but they want to take calls, say, on their cell phone. Caller ID prepend. This is a VoIP phone feature where you can determine some additional text or numbers that show up on your staff members' VoIP phone's displays in front of the caller ID of the person who's calling into the system, right? So customer Mary is calling in, and on Bob's VoIP phone, he'll see support in front of customer Mary's phone number. All right, so after having users and groups, then it's a good time to go ahead and look at your main numbers section here. First up, your main company numbers. These are your default numbers that people call you on. You can add from spare or buy new. You can unassign if you don't want a number to be a main number anymore. Any place you unassign a number, you're not removing it from the account. You're just removing it from that location. Once you unassign a number, it goes to your numbers tab under spare numbers, which we'll be getting to shortly. Office hours strategy, you have 24-hour open office or custom office hours. If you choose custom office hours for each day of the week that you're open, put a check mark. And then set your open hours in 24-hour or military time in the pull downs provided. You also have the option here to say, hey, I'm closed for lunch at the same time every day. Just put a check mark. Set your lunch hours in that 24-hour or military time, and then click on Save Changes. Office holidays, if you're closed for holidays, put a check mark here. And then on the right-hand side, there's Add Holiday, little pull down for single day, date, range, and advanced. Choosing any one of these will create a new row. And you basically just fill out the form here, which is give it a name, choose the relevant dates that you need, and then save changes. The one caveat is for advanced. You see here for Memorial Day, you choose the month, and then second pull down, you have first through last, as well as, or first through fifth, as well as last, and then the day of the week. And then save changes. If you need to remove a holiday, just click on the little trash icon on the right, and then click on Save Changes. Incoming call handling. So for my main numbers, how do I want my system to handle calls during my open hours, my after hours, and my holidays? Right, same basic three options. So during my open hours, I have my calls going into my virtual receptionist. This is a link that I can click on. Big box. Your main menu, this is where you add routes, which right down here, right? So 0 through 9, star key. This is what people press on their phones. The second pull down are things on your system, right? So users, groups, voicemail boxes, etc. Greetings. This is where you say thank you for calling, probably say your company name, and then you want to give directions, like what should the caller press to get to where. You've got these options here. Text to speech is just type it in. It's a computerized robotic voice. You can upload your own file, right? .wav.mp3 up to 1 megabyte. You can choose from a media file that's already an account, i.e. you have your normal main greeting and your holidays greeting, right? You can switch between the two once they're already up on the system. You can record it over the phone. The system wants you to use a VoIP phone on the account by default. If you don't want to do that, then you would go down under settings and turn allow outside recording to on, right? This is a security feature, that's why it's off. But you can now call in from any phone number and then enter this PIN number. This PIN number is specific to this time of day, right? So it's only good during my open hours. Then I just call in, I hear my main greeting play, I record a greeting, I'm overriding the existing greeting that's there. I click save and new greeting in place. Professional recording services, when you click order, this will open up a new tab and take you to Snap Recordings. You can just order it from them. They'll email you the completed file. You would just come to upload your own file. Settings, number of retries on misdials, how many times your inbound caller can make a mistake. Dialing timeout is how long the system listens for an additional button press, i.e. when someone's trying to enter an extension number. Allow dialing extensions. By default, this is on, and this just means if the inbound caller enters a valid extension number, the system will transfer the call. And then the suppress the playing of invalid entry. So if a customer keeps making a mistake, the system will eventually say we did not recognize your entry, and then I either transfer the call or say goodbye. So if you don't want that message to play, just click on to turn that on. Any changes you make to your main menu, your greetings, or your settings, you need to click save down here at the bottom right, and then save changes back on incoming call handling. Oops. My after hours, I choose the second option, which is the live operator answer option. This first pull down, I choose something that's on my system, user, group, phone, etc. If they're not able to answer, then they get routed to my virtual receptionist, where again, they have a greeting place, you have your media, your menu options, etc. For holidays, I chose this third option. This first pull down, something on your system, right? User, group, phone, etc. I chose the very last option, which is other, just saying skip the voicemail. And then the second pull down, you choose a voicemail box on your account. Right. So during my holidays, don't ring the phone to anybody, just send the caller to voicemail. Again, for more details, use that support link and look up the incoming call handling or even main greeting if you want more information on main greetings. Main conference room number, you can have multiple if you want. You can add from spare or buy new. You can also do a custom greeting, which is text-to-speech. You would just click to enable, type in what you want the system to say, and click on save. Even if you don't enable that feature, the system says welcome to the conference and then prompts the caller to enter the conference room number and PIN number. Main fax box number, you can only have the one main number or one main fax box number. But once you do, you have edit fax box. Inbound notification email, in the box to the right, enter an email address. That is the email that will get a message every time a fax is sent into the system. And in the body of that email will be, or there'll be a PDF attachment. So you can just view that file directly from your email. The email permissions in the box to the right, you can either enter in an email address or your company email domain, like we've done here. So anyone at VirtualPBX can send a fax out from this account, even if they're not a user on the account. Now to send a fax out, they would create an email, in this case from the virtualpbx.com email. They put plus in the to field, they put the +1 area code and phone number of where they're faxing to, and then this account realm. Right, again, specific to this account. Then they just need to attach a PDF or TIFF file and click send. The system does not send anything that's typed in the subject line or in the body of the email. One attachment per email, one address per email. And it's a PDF or TIFF file. So if you need a cover sheet, you want to include that as part of your PDF attachment, for example. All right, auto attendance. This is an add-on feature. This allows you to create additional attendants. Like if you want to do submenuing, one for English, two for Spanish, or if you have multiple businesses and you want them on the same account. Up here at the top, you would click on Add Attendant. We need a name. We need an extension number. And then click on Create Attendant. When an attendant is created, it defaults to this, being unavailable in main menu, right? Meaning it's a standalone attendant. If you want it to be a menu option, right? So you're gonna make use of submenuing, you would click on this toggle. So now it's available in main menu, right? If it's a separate business, you probably want to leave it as is. Auto attendants can have their own phone number and they can have multiple, right? So you can add from spare or buy new. Extensions, right? Auto attendants can have multiple extension numbers. If you want them, just click add extension and enter that extension number. Then we have a little wrench icon here under settings. You'll see open hours, after hours, and holidays. This will match what was set up under your main number. But beyond that, they're all going to a virtual receptionist for those times of day. So you would set up your menu options and your greetings for those times. The device tab shows your devices on the account. A green device is registered, so we can send a call to it. A red device is not registered. That could be someone's not signed into the device, like a web phone or a soft phone. It could also be they're having some sort of network issue. Up at the top, you can always add new devices here. Again, we recommend adding directly to the user. Just for emphasis here, I'm adding another soft phone. But you see here, I get the big box again, but there's no toggle beneath view configuration. So if I want that VirtualPBX soft phone, got to do so directly on the user. Another thing I want to point out real quick is under this edit setting, wrench icon here for the VoIP phones. If you go to advanced, you can go to emergency caller ID. You can select one of your phone numbers that you've assigned an address to, and then assign that phone number to the specific VoIP phone for the purposes of E911. Right? So your staff member Bob works from home. You can set up one of your phone numbers to have address information for Bob's home address, and then assign it directly to Bob's VoIP phone. So if he ever has to call 911 from his VoIP phone, his address is sent to emergency services, not your corporate headquarters. Right? And each phone number can have its own address. The Greetings tab, this shows all your media files on the account. Right? You have the name, which is whatever it was called. The source, TTS, means text to speech, which means it was created under the virtual receptionist or an auto attendant. Upload means it was a file that was uploaded to the system. And recording means it was recorded over the phone. This column here lets you play back that the individual recording in your browser, right, so you can tell if it's still relevant. You also have a download option here. So if it doesn't play back in your browser, you can download the file and play it on your local media file. I also recommend that you download your main greeting that you have for most of the year, right? Your non-holiday main greeting. That way you have a backup copy someplace. Little wrench icon under edit. This allows you to change the name of the greeting so it's something more recognizable to you, or you can delete it if you know you no longer need it. Numbers tab, this shows your numbers in use and where they're assigned. Little gear icon here has an E911 option, so that's where you would add an address to a phone number. The spare numbers tab, these are the numbers you're not using right now. If you want to remove a spare number, you want to click on the box that's in front of the number here, and then you see the option to delete shows up, and then you confirm the deletion to remove the number from the account. You can buy numbers, right? Local toll-free, which just adds more numbers to your account and that you could assign to a later location. You also have the option here to port, which is just moving a phone number from another carrier to VirtualPBX. For that, you definitely want to look in the support page and do a search for porting to go through all the steps there. Voicemail boxes, this shows your voicemail boxes on the account. Anything that has an entry under the user column was a voicemail box that was created with the user. Up here at the top, excuse me, you can click on Add Voicemail Box, give it a name, give it a voicemail box number, and then give it a PIN number, and click on Create Voicemail Box. One thing to note is a voicemail box number is not the same as an extension number. So if someone tries to enter this from my virtual receptionist, right, the 3333, they're not getting here. They'll get invalid entry. Now, the voicemail box number, PIN number, that's what you would use to check voicemail messages over the phone, as well as change your greeting over the phone. If we go to advanced greeting media, this is where you would upload a media file directly to the voicemail box. You don't have to do it over the phone. MP3 or .wave up to 1 megabyte. If you have something selected in media and temporary, both at the same time, only the temporary file plays, not the media file. Media file will not play again until temporary is sent back to none. And that's for the out of office or vacation message. Recipients, every voicemail box that you create with the user has a built-in recipient, right? The email address used for login. Any voicemail box you create on this page, you definitely want to make sure you come here and add at least one email address, but you can always add multiple, right? For like, in this case, this is my support voicemail box, so I probably want it to go to multiple people, so that way I'm not relying on just it getting to one person. Options. There we go. So once I have a media file in place and recipients, I would click on Already Set Up, so that way I don't accidentally have someone change the voicemail box greeting by accident over the phone. And then here, I would always want to make sure, especially for any voicemail box you create on this page, you want to have the attached messages to email checked. And because this is my support voicemail box, I don't want it ever to get full. So I opted to delete the notification or the voicemails after that notification is sent out. Virtual Text Forward, this is an add-on. This allows you to have phone numbers accept inbound text messages, and then they forward it on. This is not for two-way text communication. You would just click up here at the top, add number. Then the list from this pull down will be from your spare numbers, right? So you want a number to be in spare first to enable text forwarding, and then assign it to where you need it to go. And then you choose either an email address or a webhook, and then click on text forward. Virtual extensions, this is a plan specific feature. This allows you to add additional extension numbers without adding them as full users. Now, some limitations. Because they're not users, they can't be assigned to a group or to a call queue. However, because they have extension numbers, they're accessible from the virtual receptionist. They can be a menu option from the virtual receptionist. However, and then they can only have one device. And because there's not an email associated with it, even though you can add a soft phone, you're not going to have that toggle option, right? Because we don't have an email address to send the credentials to. So you can add a third-party soft phone, but not the VirtualPBX soft phone. Call logs shows your call history on the account. You have today, this week, this month, and custom. Custom will let you go back up to 1 year. Just choose the date range and then, oops, click filter. Any of those tabs, you have the option to download, right? It just downloads the file as a CSV. So if you go with spreadsheets, you'll get some more information. The green arrow to the right, that's a call coming into the system, and you can click on it to see if it rang to any specific devices. The yellow arrow to the left is a call going out from the system. There's a little fire extinguisher icon here to the far right on these calls. This will create an email for you, pre-addressed to support@virtualpbx.com. It will have these technical details of the call. Just type in the body of the email why you're sending it in. Our support team may not pick up on why exactly you're sending it in just from the technical details. The filter option or the custom option lets you go back to 1 year, as I said. If you need to go back further, you're going to need to talk to our support team. They'll have to escalate that up to the engineers, but they can only go back up to 18 months. Feature codes. These are ways for your VoIP phone users to access Dash features directly from their VoIP phones. In the support page link, you can do a search for feature codes or the phone commands cheat sheet. So under here, the menu icon, blacklists. This allows you to create a list of phone numbers that you're blocking from reaching your staff. Definitely use the support link and look at the blacklist feature. Just be aware of the calls will still show up in your call log. They'll just show up as rejected, but they're not going to end up ringing anyone's phone. Call recording. This account is set up with AWS call recording, so I'm basically showing you what's on my AWS account here. If you don't have AWS, that's fine. That link would instead open up a new tab and take you to recordings.virtualpbx.com. That page just uses your Dash login information, and there you would view your recordings, right? You can play them back, download them, delete them, etc. Number manager, this is taking me back to your support or your spare number page. The user portal, every user on your account has access to their own user portal. It starts them off here under their voicemail tab, so they can listen to it, download it. There's a little box here at the very front. They can put a check mark here and change its status. The other thing I want to cover here is the settings and devices tab. Right here is where your users can enable call forwarding on their own. Just put a check mark, +1 area code and phone number, and then save. Right? And now I'm call forwarding. Webhooks is a plan-specific feature. This allows you to link your Dash account to other software. In the show notes, you can look at the introduction to Zapier webinar. You can also go to developer.virtualpbx.com to see sample code of what we have done to link Dash to other software. And you'd want to talk to our sales team about this. SMS registration. This is what you would need to go through in order to have the virtual text feature enabled on your account. That's presuming your account supports business SMS, which is the Pro plan and higher. You want to read this first page because that's giving you some good information. The start registration page, this is telling you exactly what you need to get started, and then click on register. And then the status page tells you where your registration is in terms of the process. Call center, this is available on our ultra plans. These are call queues, which on our advanced version of groups, queues have multiple routing options that are way more advanced than groups. They can also ignore users that are on a call, right? It would skip them. In the show notes, you can look at the ACD QUEUES Pro demo. Dynamic caller ID. This is an add-on feature. This allows you to create rules to change the outbound caller ID of your VoIP phones. So the easiest example would be to go by area code, right? Just have a rule set up so that I have here for Vegas, whenever my staff members dial a 702 area code phone number from their VoIP phones, the system is automatically going to change their outbound caller ID to a 702 number I have on my account. Faxes, this is your fax manager, so you can see your status of your fax box and their history. You can also see if there's errors. Reports, this opens up a new tab, takes you to reports.virtualpbx.com, which has its own login information. In the show notes, you can look at the advanced reporting demo to see what that's about. This is an add-on feature, but you can create your own reports. Voicemail tab, this gets you, as an admin, you can get to any voicemail box on the account, so you can see their messages, and you can manage them, i.e. you can either move them to a different voicemail box or change their status, right? I.e. you're getting notified that a voicemail box is full. Integration AWS, this is available on the Pro plan and higher, but this is how you would link your Dash account to Amazon Web Services. You would click up here for a new account. I'm just going to click on an existing one here. We just need the access key, the secret access key, and the bucket you have set up on AWS, and then we can link it. And again, in the support page links, you can do a search for AWS integration, and that will give you the step-by-step. All right, that's everything. I ran a little bit long, so I do apologize, but we'll be back again next Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific. I thank you